Good morning from the National Weather Service office in Lake Charles. I'm meteorologist Donald Jones, and happy snow day, Southeast Texas and Southwest Louisiana. We saw snow begin kind of in earnest across the area just after midnight this morning, and we've continued to see it fall pretty much throughout the morning so far. We're continuing to see snow for probably another several hours at least. I'm thinking through at least about 10 or 11 a.m. here this morning for it to begin to end across parts of Southeast Texas. Probably not getting out of South Central Louisiana until sometime early this afternoon, maybe as late as 2 or 3 p.m. For it to finally get clear of the area. So we've seen a fair amount of snow out there so far this morning. We've ranged anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches across the area so far, and there is more to come over the next several hours here as we go through the morning. I'm going to start off here by talking really quickly just about, we're going to take a look at the radar image and see what's going on out there at the moment. You can see the Lake Charles area is actually getting ready to come into a bit of a break, if you will, from the snow. It's not going to last too long. The thing you have to keep in mind when you're looking at snow on radar is that these light blues here, while normally that's very little or nothing, that's actually pretty solid snow falling. These dark greens here that are just getting ready to move on shore, that have moved on shore here across parts of Jefferson County and parts of Cameron Parish, that's actually very heavy snow that's moving into the area right now. So while green is normally light when we're talking about rain, it's actually rather heavy when we're talking about snow. So putting this into motion, you can see kind of how it's moving. Let me see if I can press play on that real quick. You can kind of see the motion to the northeast. So that band is going to be coming ashore off parts of Cameron Parish and will likely be moving through the Lake Charles area within the next, say, hour or thereabouts. You can see there's also some fairly strong banding here over towards the New Iberia area, Morgan City. You're going to be getting in on some heavier snow here in the next little while. But a large swath of light to, we'll call it moderate snow, continues across parts of the area here this morning. So that just kind of gives you an idea. If you've been outside so far this morning and you've taken a snowfall measurement, please do let us know what you had. Jennifer over here says she already measured 3.5 inches in rain. Thank you for that report, Jennifer. And that's kind of what we've been looking at, 1 to 3 inches. Actually, 3.5 is one of the higher totals that we've had reported to us here so far this morning. So do let us know how much you've had. Keith says he's got 3 to 4 inches so far in Rackley. Thank you for that report as well. We're trying to collaborate and get all these reports together so we can put a snow map together and see exactly where the highest snowfall totals are. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our briefing here. Again, as always, this is a live interactive briefing. So if you have any questions once we get through our briefing, feel free to post them in our comment section and we'll answer them just as soon as we wrap up our briefing here. Let me actually turn on my clicker so maybe it'll actually work. We actually do have a blizzard warning now in effect. Words that I never thought would come out of my mouth. We were thinking that there was not a likely possibility, but a low-end possibility that we would need to upgrade to a blizzard warning this morning. And we did have quite a few observations out there this morning that had wind gusts over 35 miles per hour and visibilities from the heavy snow reduced to a quarter mile or less. So for now, we've got Jefferson and Orange counties in a blizzard warning, as well as Cameron, Calcasieu, Jeff Davis, Acadia, Lafayette, and Vermilion parishes in a blizzard warning. That'll go until noon today. And again, blizzard warning means that frequent 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible, as well as quarter-mile visibility due to the very heavy snow that's falling. So we do have that blizzard warning in effect. The rest of the area remains in that winter storm warning. That's going to go until 3 p.m. By that point, I think we should have all of the snow out of here. It's going to end a little bit earlier across southeast Texas, but it's not going to get out of south central Louisiana until, let's say, mid-afternoon or thereabout. We're still looking at 2 to 6 inches of snow expected across the region. We're already seeing about half that in some locations, maybe a little bit more. And we're going to be looking at another, say, 4 to 5 hours of additional snowfall, potentially heavy snowfall at times. So those numbers are on track to where we would expect to be. So far here at the Weather Service office in Lake Charles, we've gotten just under 2.5. I think last we measured it was about 2.2 or thereabouts. But again, we're going to expect to get higher than that here before this is all said and done. Temperatures today are not going to climb very much. We're in the mid-20s here this morning. We're only going to climb to maybe right around 30 or thereabout across the region. We're likely going to stay below freezing most, if not the entire day. There's a very small window of opportunity because the sun is going to come out eventually at some point here later this afternoon that we could see some slight warming, say maybe between about 3 and 5 p.m. before the sun goes down. But that's going to be about it. So I don't expect if we do get above freezing, it's only going to be a very short period of time. we're going to be right back below freezing. What that means is that all of the snow that's falling this morning and for this whole event is going to stay on the ground at least through tomorrow, and I think we're probably not going to get much above freezing tomorrow evening, so possibly not having any kind of significant melting opportunity until Thursday afternoon, because we're going to remain very cold for the next couple of days. Again, we're going to be looking at very cold temperatures, so we're also going to be looking at, we were talking about those 35-mile-an-hour winds, we're going to be looking at wind chills. Wind chills out there this morning are in the teens. As we go into tonight, the winds are going to come down some, but they're still going to be blowing around 10 miles an hour. That's going to put wind chills potentially in the single digits as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning. Nothing's not working. That's okay. Anita, did I leave good morning from Moss Bluff for you this whole time? Well, you're telling everybody good morning from Moss Bluff. All right. Again, the area's highlighted in white here. This is where we have our blizzard warning in effect right now. Again, that's Jefferson and Orange counties, as well as Calcasieu, Cameron, Jeff Davis, Acadia, Lafayette, and Vermilion parishes. The remainder of the area is in that winter storm warning. And the blizzard warning goes until noon. The winter storm warning goes until 3 p.m. Now, the snow is going to come to an end from west to east. So it's going to end in southeast Texas first, probably by about 10 or 11 a.m., and then gradually end in southwest Louisiana, noon to 1 p.m. or thereabouts, give or take a couple of hours. And then south central Louisiana, kind of mid-afternoon, between about, say, 1 and 3 p.m. for it to get out of there. We are still looking again at snowfall accumulations 2 to 6 inches. We've already seen about 1 to 3 inches so far, maybe ever so slightly higher than that in a few locations. But we're kind of right on track where we would expect to be. We're going to be looking at another several hours of snow, and that'll get us in that 2 to 6 inch range. We're also looking at those wind gusts of 35 mile per hour plus. Now, roads and bridges and overpasses are already slick, and many roads are hazardous. We had a couple of forecasters that had to work their way into the office here this morning, and they said they couldn't go above about 20 miles an hour. And even then, they were kind of sliding all over the road. So roads are hazardous right now. And parts of I-10 have already been shut down. I think it's actually east of the Lake Charles area. I don't have the exact locations. But if you must venture out today, make sure you know that your path is clear, that the roads are actually open, and be prepared to go very slow. I've actually got some tips here I'm going to give you in just a second if you must get out on the road today. But in general, we would discourage travel. And from what I've been told so far by the local police departments and sheriff's departments, most people are heeding that advice. There haven't been any major accidents so far this morning. So that's certainly some good news. If I could, press the right button here and not take myself off the screen. This little graphic here I thought was just kind of interesting since we did issue a blizzard warning here this morning. This is the number of days since the last time a blizzard warning was issued by every one of our weather service forecast offices. This office has never issued a blizzard warning in its entire existence. And now we are the most recent to have done so. Coming in second place right now is actually parts of Kansas that had a blizzard warning a couple of weeks ago, and parts of western Missouri. But now we are the most recent people to have a blizzard in the United States of America. So congratulations to us, and congratulations to us on our first blizzard experience. It certainly is an experience. We do have a cold weather advisory. This is essentially for tonight. Once that snow ends, we're going to have a stronger cold front that's going to roll through the area. It's going to get even colder than it already is, believe it or not. We're going to be looking at temperatures and wind chills 20 degrees or lower going until 6 p.m. this evening, and then that's going to switch over to what we call an extreme cold warning. This is when we're expecting wind chill values as low as 5 degrees. So it is going to be extremely cold behind this front. It's a combination of the frontal boundary moving through. The skies are going to be clearing this evening, so that's going to give what we call radiational cooling. Essentially, any heat that's on the ground is going to have a chance to radiate out into space. And also the snowpack, the snow that's already on the ground, is going to help cool the temperatures on the ground level too. So that's going to make it feel extremely cold tonight and into tomorrow morning. We do still have a gale warning in effect out over our coastal waters, just like we're getting those 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts over land. We're getting them over the water as well, and they're gusting even higher over the water. So obviously not a good day to be out on the water. This is our latest forecast snow accumulations. And again, we've already seen anywhere between about 1 and 3 inches of snow across the area. So that is already kind of accounted for in this. This is not additional amounts. These are the snow totals that we're expecting once it's all said and done. So generally, we're looking at 4 to 6 inches, kind of along and south of the I-10 corridor, a little bit higher swaths over towards south central Louisiana, so Lafayette, Iberia Parish, down towards St. Martin and St. Mary. You may be seeing a little bit higher overall snow totals. Further to the north, north of I-10, we're looking at 2 to 3, and then roughly along and north of Highway 190, we're looking at essentially about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall altogether. That's kind of the latest update on that. And again, that's not in addition to what's already fallen. That includes what's already fallen. So we've seen 1 to 3 inches across the area already, and then this will be for the next few hours. We expect to get to these totals by the end of the day. Again, strong winds and the weight of the snow on tree limbs will have the potential to cause some power outages. Fortunately, there have not been any major power outages across the area this morning. There may have been 1 or 2, but really no significant power outages across the region this morning. So that's excellent news. If we can get through the next few hours or so, I think we're going to be in good shape from the snow perspective as far as power outages go. Again, vehicle travel is very hazardous right now. Do not get out on the roadways unless you absolutely must. And if you absolutely must, here are my driving recommendations. This is actually courtesy of a good friend of mine who went through this actually not too long ago. She was in Kansas as well and was in that last blizzard they had up there just a couple of weeks ago. I was aware of some of these, but not all of these. Obviously, make sure to accelerate slowly. Don't jam on the gas pedal by any means in this kind of environment. Go very slow, and our forecasters that had to come into the office this morning can attest to this. Anything over about 20 or 25 miles an hour, and your vehicle is going to start sliding because there is a thin layer of ice out there. It's even out in our parking lot right now. Because what happened last night, the first snow that started to fall, the asphalt was above freezing still, so it melted that snow into a very thin layer of liquid, and then it subsequently froze. So now we're looking at a layer of ice underneath the snow, especially on a lot of area roadways. So there is ice out there that will cause roads and vehicles to be very, very slick. If your vehicle starts to slide, absolutely definitely take your foot off the accelerator, and don't slam on the brakes either, because that'll cause you to lose control even more. Don't overcorrect. That's a hard thing to not do. It's natural inclination. If your vehicle starts sliding one way, you want to turn the steering wheel back the other, but that's not necessarily the best course of action in that case. Obviously, you want to leave large distances between vehicles. Don't get too close. You have to give yourself an opportunity if you do start sliding to be able to slide for a while without running into anything. And obviously slow down much earlier than you normally would, just in case you do start sliding. You don't slide into anybody that's sitting at a stoplight or a stop sign. The last thing is to make sure to clean the snow off of your vehicle, because if you're driving along and a patch of snow comes off your vehicle and slams into the windshield behind you, not only could that potentially do damage to them, but it could also temporarily blind them. And that could cause them to run into the back of you or run off into a ditch or whatever the case may be. And we certainly don't want that. So generally speaking, we want to strongly continue to discourage anyone getting out on the roadways today. But if you must, keep these safety tips in mind as you go through it. As far as the timing for the snow as we go through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon, you can see most of the activity across southwest and south central Louisiana is going to be over with by right around noontime. South central Louisiana over towards Lafayette, Morgan City, those areas, maybe a little bit later. That's why I was saying maybe as late as 3 p.m. But for southwest Louisiana here in the Lake Charles area, up towards DeRidder, Fort Johnson, those areas, we're going to be looking at most of the snowfall out of here most likely by about noontime today. So we've got about another 5 or so hours to go until that snow begins to work its way off to the east. For southeast Texas, it's going to be a little bit earlier. We're going to be looking at the snow coming to an end probably by about 11 a.m. or thereabouts. So still looking at another 4 to 5 hours or so of snow as well. But you are going to come to an end on the snowfall a little bit earlier than we will in the Louisiana parishes, obviously, because it's going to come to an end from west to east. This is a look at our forecast low temperatures tonight. Again, I told you it was going to be cold, and we're looking at lower teens across the area, 10, 11 degrees, maybe as high as 14 or so, right along the immediate coastline, even in the upper teens there to right around 20 degrees. So it is going to be pretty dang cold tonight, and then we'll add those wind chill factors in there, and we're talking about single digits across most of the area. The winds are going to come down from where they are now, but we're still looking at probably winds of 10 miles an hour or thereabout. Now, as we get into tomorrow night, into Thursday morning, we're going to be still back in the teens. Maybe not quite as cold as tonight, but it is going to still be very cold out there. We're talking mid to upper 20s across most of the area, upper 20s right along the immediate coastline. And then for Thursday night into Friday morning, you can see we're back down into the lower 20s, right around freezing along the immediate coast, but it is going to be another hard freeze night Thursday night into Friday morning. This is a look at the, still looking at those long duration temperatures tonight, tomorrow night, and into Thursday. And then we are going to freeze again, most likely Thursday night into Friday. I think that's going to be the last night for the freezing temperatures. We're still going to be cold Saturday, but we're not going to freeze. And then by Sunday, ironically, we're back up to close to 70 degrees. So the warmth is not too far away. It is going to warm back up by the end of the week. It's going to take a few more days to get there for those of you who are tired of this already. Same thing for our Southeast Texas cities. We're looking at temperatures tonight in the lower teens, and then very cold temperatures continuing through at least Thursday, and then another light to potentially hard freeze. We're still, 25 degrees is still a hard freeze Thursday night into Friday morning before we begin to warm up into the weekend. Those winds, again, are going to stay up through the morning. They are going to come down this afternoon somewhat. You can see, though, as we go through the evening, we're still looking at 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that is going to still have something of a wind chill factor, but it's not going to be the 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts that we're seeing here this morning. This is our southwest Louisiana wind gusts. You can kind of see the same thing. We're looking at the winds will come down by this evening, but for the rest of the morning, we are still going to be looking at those gusts 30 to 35 miles per hour. Let's look at our forecast minimum wind chills. Again, we're talking single digits to lower teens tonight into tomorrow morning. Same thing as we go into Wednesday night and to Thursday. We're still looking at wind chill factors in the teens with a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. And, kind of the same thing with the summary graphic here. We're looking at a very long duration period of very cold wind chills for both our Southeast Texas cities as well as our Southwest Louisiana cities. So that's what we have here from the National Weather Service. I'm going to go ahead and jump back here. In fact, I'll stop on the snowfall graphic here, but I'm going to pull the radar back up real quick. We can take a look at that while I answer your questions. Again, when we're looking at radar when it comes to winter weather, these light blues here indicate that snow is falling, and the light greens, which normally indicate light rain, that's actually relatively heavy snow. And you can see there is a heavy band of snow moving on shore right across Cameron, Vermilion, over towards New Iberia, and even across parts of southern Jefferson County. All of that's going to be working inland here over the next little while. So those of you who don't think we've had enough snow yet this morning, there is more on the way. So fear not, we are not done with this just yet. Let me go ahead and back up here and see if you do have any questions. If you do, feel free to throw them in our comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Keith says he's making a snowman later, or Keith says I'll be making me a snowman. Yeah, okay. Well, I think we all need to take this opportunity to make a snowman if we can. I'm going to try to do one myself, I think. I don't expect it'll be too good, but I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. Cookie Death says 3 inches of snow so far in Lafayette. It's very windy and cold. Thank you for that. Yeah, 3 inches. That's kind of on the higher end of what we're seeing so far. You've got 3 inches already. You may wind up seeing double that before this is all said and done. Blood Rain says, with the sun rising, the scenery is gorgeous. Yeah, it's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Melancholy. It's it's kind of gray but you got the white in there too. It is pretty. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, it's not something we see around here very often, that's for sure. Sheila says, I hope people in Cameron and Holly Beach post pictures of the beach. That would be interesting to see the snow on top of the sand. That would be interesting. I'd like to see that as well. Blood Rain gives some good advice here. Be careful walking up or down stairs and in the snow. The footing is not sturdy in the fluff. That's true. And a lot of stairways are going to have ice on them this morning. So absolutely be very careful. Even if you're stepping outside onto your front porch, it could very well have some ice on it. Terry says it's coming down good in Abbeville. Yeah, you're probably right in the middle of that heavier band there. Keith says our state has a new name. We're now Alaskiana. For this week, we are anyway. Next week, we'll be back up to 70 again. So Alaskiana's going away. Deborah asked, what does travel look like for Thursday morning for work and schools? I can't say for sure yet. You know, there is going to be the opportunity, quite a bit of opportunity for Department of Transportation and those to treat roadways. It's not going to melt off until Thursday afternoon, but there may be the opportunity to treat and get some roadways open that are currently closed. Jody asks, is it snowing in Houston? Yes, it is snowing in Houston, or at least it was a short time ago. I haven't looked at it. Let's see if I can back that up a little bit. Yeah, looks like we do still have some light to moderate snow in the Houston area. Liz says, Donald Jones, I told you I'd share. You're welcome. Thank you, Liz, for sharing your snowstorm with us. Some of us I think most of us are probably enjoying it. I don't know about everybody, but I think the majority of people are excited to see some snow around here. It's not a common occurrence. Stacy says, so the green here is snow. Yes, the green here is actually heavy snow that's falling. While normally the green is light rain, that translates to heavy snow when we're talking about snow. Heather says, how much snow in Alexandria so far? I think most of Alexandria is probably right around an inch or thereabouts. I haven't gotten too many reports from up that way. Bill says, snow angels are better, not enough for snowmen. Maybe not yet, but the day is not over yet. You know, you might see some more, depending on where you are. Donna asks, when will it end? It's going to end by early this afternoon. Let me see if I can pull my timing graphic back up here. There we go. So we're going to be looking at the snow coming to an end right around noontime or thereabouts, depending on exactly where you are, maybe a little bit later across parts of south central Louisiana, Lafayette, New Iberia, Morgan City. You may go as late as 3 p.m. But for the majority of the area, we're going to be done with it by about noontime or thereabout. If you're in southeast Texas, it's actually going to be a little bit earlier. We'll probably be done with it by about 11 a.m. Kathy says, is Orange, Texas going to receive any more snow? Yes, we are still seeing snow on radar. So, yeah, you will continue to see some snow for at least another few hours. Renee says 2.5 to 3 inches in Cecilia. Thank you for that report. Richard says he's received about 3 to 4 inches so far. It's 25 degrees and not too windy over in Jennings. The streets are covered over with snow, so driving is not advisable. That's, again, what we talked about. Absolutely want to stay off the roads if at all possible. Terry asks, is there any lightning detected? No, there's been no lightning that we've observed or seen on radar or through lightning detection methods this morning. Tanya says it's whirling and whipping in Iowa. It's beautiful, though. It is kind of beautiful in its own way. Carol says, did you ever think you would use the word blizzard in your career? Not here, and not to describe something that was actually happening. Maybe it's part of a research project. Blood Rain says, this is the best snowfall Lafayette has seen since 1988. Don't know, though I don't know how much fell that year. I was just an 8th grader. I was even younger than that back then. I was just a baby. But yeah, this was expected to be a significant snow, and it is turning into that. It's a little bit slower, I think, than we were anticipating. But again, we've still got another several hours to go. So don't be surprised if we pick up another few inches as we go through the rest of the morning here. Liz says, if you're not driving today, once the snow ends, start your cars and let them run for 20 minutes. The extreme cold isn't good for their systems. Yep, that is good advice, and I would hope that would be most of us today, that most of us don't have to start our cars and get out on the roadways. Brazil asks, how is Alexandria looking? Alexandria, I should probably pull up this graphic so we can actually see Alexandria. There it is. You're looking at some steady light snow across the area. I think so far, generally, we've been looking at an inch or less of accumulation up towards the Alexandria area. And that's kind of what we're expecting. We weren't expecting quite so high of snowfall totals up that way, maybe 2 inches or thereabouts. But we're not expecting as much up that way as we are closer to the coast. Kathy called her local station in Geneva, Ohio, and told them it was snowing. Were they jealous? Have they gotten a lot of snow this year? I don't even know. Bill says, thanks for noting my message. New England relocation has been down here 2 years, and meteorology is a hobby. Meteorology, I think, is a hobby for a lot of us, especially when it gets quote unquote bad. We're all interested in the why. Why is this happening? And that's why I'm here to tell you why it's happening. Amanda says, I don't think our power will make it through the next heavy band in Big Lake. Too many power surges already. We've been fortunate across most of the region so far that there haven't been any major power outages. We'll have to see how that goes here through the rest of the morning, but we'll keep our fingers crossed. Ava says, looking like around 2 to 3 inches in LeBleu. Thank you for that report, Ava. Blood Rain says, from hurricanes in early September to blizzards in January, we've hit the extremes in less than 6 months. Well, we're known for that around here. There's never a dull moment weather-wise in this part of the world. Ashland says, use the tape measure in my yard. Most spots are 5 inches, some are 7. Where are you at, Ashland, that you're recording such high measurements there? Holly asks, are you expecting to extend the blizzard warning to Iberia Parish? We're continuing to monitor the observations. If we start getting the visibilities really low and the wind gusts up that way, we will. I was thinking when I issued it this morning that we might need to extend it further east. So far, those numbers haven't justified extending it yet, but it very well may here as we continue to go through the morning. So it's possible. Ashley asked if melting should start Wednesday. We're probably not going to get much above freezing on Wednesday. So if we do, it's only going to be for a couple of hours during the afternoon. So I don't expect there to be much melting on Wednesday. I think the majority of the melting will take place Thursday afternoon. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for the time being. This is going to be our last live briefing as it relates to this snowstorm. It is going to continue to be very, very cold, but I think we're going to handle that with just the ordinary graphics on our social media pages because we've been doing this for several days now to get to this point. So this will be our last live briefing with this event, and fingers crossed that maybe you won't see me again for a while, because if you do, that's problems. You see way too much of me as it is in this part of the world. We are going to go ahead and wrap up here, though. But if you do have a question that I missed for some reason, or you think of one once we get off of our briefing, if you're viewing this as a recording perhaps, feel free to send us a direct message on Facebook. We'll be happy to answer your questions that way. My email is also on the screen there. You can email me directly. It's my name with a dot in the middle, Donald.Jones@NOAA, NOAA.gov. You can also give us a call here at our office. We're at area code 337-477-5285. You can send us a message on X. You can send us a message on Instagram. So lots of different ways to get in touch with us if you do have any questions regarding the snow, when it's going to end, what's going to happen with it, what about my house, and then the extreme cold that we're expecting tonight and through the rest of the week. The good news is, if you're tired of this already, it is going to warm up by the weekend. We're going to be close to 70 degrees by this coming Sunday. So there is hope on the horizon for my warm-blooded creatures out there. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, stay off the road. And we'll hopefully talk to you again soon, but not too soon.